Morning, welcome back to the channel. On this video we're going to talk about the Nikon Z50 Mark II. Is it a good camera for wildlife photography? Now it's basically, if you're buying a new Nikon camera body, it's the entry level into the system. You can use all the mirrorless lenses with the Z50 Mark II, so you get that sort of access to Nikon's lens range, lens lineup for mirrorless cameras. Now, is it good enough for wildlife photography? Well, I'm a photography teacher. That's what I do. It's my full-time job, and I teach landscape and wildlife photography courses. So I get a lot of cameras passed through my hands. So I don't own a Z50 Mark II, but I've used a few of them, or I've shown people how to use that camera. And so I think I've got a reasonably good idea of the camera and its capabilities. So is it a good camera for wildlife photography? Well, to start with, I think we've got to accept that it's not a Z8 or a Z9. You know, it's much cheaper. So it's never going to have the same spec or the same performance as a Z8 or a Z9, because they're, you know, pro-level cameras. But is it good enough for, you know, someone to use as a wildlife camera body? Well, that's what we're going to find out, or what we're going to talk about. Now, first things first, I think we ought to talk about the focusing system, and that's where I think the Z50 Mark II is brilliant. It's been massively updated, it's massively improved over the Z50. It's got animal eye detect, and it's good. The animal eye detect seems to work very well. I don't think it'll work as well as the Z8 or the Z9. You know, it's not as developed, I suppose you could say, but it's a very good system. It's got animal eye detect and a number of different options that you can choose from, such as animals and birds and stuff like that. So that's a big tick, and I would say if you're a budding wildlife photographer, I think the autofocus system would certainly be good enough to get started in wildlife photography. Image quality is great. Now the Z50 Mark II has got an APS-C size sensor, so that's a smaller sensor than the full frame sensors. It's about 2/3 of the size. So again, image quality is excellent, and I think it's hard to buy a camera that hasn't got really good image quality these days. Is it as finely detailed as a full frame sensor? Maybe not, but I've shot with APS-C sensors. I used to have a Nikon D500, and it's absolutely fine. And what you get with the APS-C sensor is that crop factor, that magnification, which magnifies the focal length. So your 500mm lens behaves like a 750mm lens in real life. It doesn't actually change the focal length, but that narrower angle of view gives you that magnification. So that's a good thing for wildlife. So the APS-C sensor is good, I think, and because it's an APS-C sensor, the body is also quite small and light. It's very sturdy, so I think it's going to be durable enough for outside use. But the fact of the matter is that smaller camera body is great if you're hiking around, and you've got, it helps to reduce the weight a little bit if you're carrying a long lens. One of the things I don't like about the Z50 Mark II is it's only got one camera slot. So I think that's, you know, a bit of a downside, because when I'm using the Z8, what I tend to do is have the two cards, one as a main card and one as an overflow card, so I never miss the action. If you're coming towards the end of one card and an amazing bit of action is happening, the last thing you want is to have to take one card out and put a new card in. So I think that's where it could be a minor problem, because you could end up missing a bit of action if you're getting towards the end of the card. My advice would be actually to make sure you don't get close to filling the card up, but change the card before that, when, you know, it's a bit quiet and there's not a lot going on. So it's not the end of the world, but it would be nice if there was a twin card slot. The frame rate is pretty good as well. I believe, if I'm right, it's about 10 frames a second. Now again, that's not as fast as the Z8 or the Z9, but easily fast enough in my opinion. In fact, my Z8, I've often got it turned down to 10 frames a second anyway, because unless it's a super fast subject, maybe sort of a woodland bird taking off, I don't want to be wading through 20 frames a second, and that's what I get with the Z8, unless I go for a JPEG file instead of a RAW file. So 10 frames a second, yeah, I think that's fine. It's certainly enough. The other area where the Z50 Mark II is very good is on the video side. I mean, really, it's one of those cameras that's been designed to almost be for content creators as well, so people that shoot stills and video. And as a wildlife photographer, I shoot a lot of video as well, so to have good video capabilities or specification is a really good thing. So I don't think the Z50 Mark II is wanting on the video side of things. So all in all, in conclusion, can you use the Z50 Mark II as a wildlife camera body? And I think the answer is yes. Now, it's not going to be up to, it's not a pro spec body, it just isn't. But that doesn't mean you can't use it and take some really good wildlife images and also really good wildlife video. So I think it would make a great starting out body for someone starting out in wildlife photography. It'd make a great backup body for, if you've got like a more expensive main body. And what it does give you is, entry into the whole mirrorless lens system that Nikon supplies. And I think Nikon are particularly good when it comes to long lenses. They've got the really expensive glass, but they've also got cheaper versions such as the 600mm f6.3, their 800mm f6.3, and the excellent 180 to 600, which is a very affordable zoom lens, and then there's the 100 to 400. So I think Nikon have got a good system or a good lens lineup when it comes to long lenses, and the Z50 Mark II gives you access to all of those lenses. So yeah, I think in conclusion, I think it will make a very good or very competent, not the best body that you can choose from the Nikon range, but a very competent wildlife camera photography body. So that's my conclusion for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you found it useful. And as always, if you have found it useful and you've enjoyed it, can you give the video a thumbs up, a like? That would really help my channel. It helps with the YouTube algorithms, and I want to grow the channel. And that brings me on to the second thing I'm going to ask you is, if you haven't already subscribed, if you can consider subscribing, that would be great. And if you do subscribe, press the little bell icon and hopefully you'll be notified when my next video is uploaded. I do equipment videos such as the one you've just watched. I do tutorial videos about wildlife photography, macro photography. I do out in the field looking for wildlife. So there's a whole range and variety of videos on my channel. And if you've enjoyed this one, it'd be great if you could subscribe. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll speak to you on my next video. So bye for now.